Next, we would like to pay tribute to several cherished friends of the American Heart Association who have passed away. Each person we are remembering made an important contribution to our shared goal of fighting cardiovascular disease and stroke. The impact of their work will live on. As their names appear, please pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. It's now time to present the American Heart Association's Basic Research Prize for 2017, celebrating the leader of a research laboratory who's made major contributions to cardiovascular science. This year's deserving prize winner is Dr. Walter Koch from the Lewis Katz School of Medicine at Temple University in Philadelphia. Dr. Koch has demonstrated excellence in cardiovascular research and has been a pioneer in the basic molecular biology of the heart. Over the past 2 decades, Dr. Koch has focused on the role that G-protein coupled receptor kinases play in the normal and failing heart. Essentially, he's created a whole new field of study based on GRKs in the cardiovascular system. Dr. Koch's been a leader in uncovering mechanisms that support GRK2 as a target for heart failure therapy and has studied GRK2 inhibitors and has additional work currently underway to develop novel small molecule chemical compounds that might become innovative GRK2 inhibitors. Dr. Koch is also recognized for his mentorship to prepare the next generation of researchers. More than 50 fellows have trained in his laboratory, and many of these trainees today run their own successful lab groups. For his work in the quest for new ways to eradicate cardiovascular disease, he is highly deserving of this year's American Heart Association's Basic Research Prize.
I'm Wally at the Lewis Katz School of Medicine at Temple University in Philadelphia. I am humbled and honored to be the 2017 recipient of the Basic Research Prize from the American Heart Association. Any success of mine is primarily due to the outstanding mentorship I have received over the years. This started as a PhD student at the University of Cincinnati, where Dr. Arnie Schwartz was such a huge influence, instilling passion for cutting-edge cardiovascular science. A molecular approach to heart disease started to drive me, and I was fortunate to postdoc at Duke University in the lab of Dr. Robert Lefkowitz. I can't say enough about Bob's mentorship and his continued support to this day. At Duke, I studied the regulation of adrenergic receptors in the heart by G-protein coupled receptor kinases, or GRKs. Our discovery that inhibition of GRK2 can improve cardiac function jump-started my independent career and is something we have been trying to translate in heart failure for over 20 years, and we are getting close. Of course, our success over the last 2 decades is also due to dozens of outstanding trainees that have spent time in my lab. Every day I am humbled by these smart and talented individuals who allow me to mentor them. I know that with these young scientists, we will continue to make key contributions, and I look forward to the journey ahead. So once again, I thank the American Heart Association for this award, and working together, all of us can make the world a healthier place.
It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Walter Koch. The Clinical Research Prize recognizes an individual who's making outstanding contributions to the advancement of cardiovascular science and who heads a distinguished clinical research laboratory. The recipient of this year's award is Dr. Robert Harrington from Stanford University School of Medicine. Dr. Harrington is an interventional cardiologist who is considered one of the most innovative clinical researchers applying effective new approaches to design and conduct of clinical trials. His investigative efforts have focused on improving the care of heart disease patients with blood clotting complications, and he has carried out his research through a series of landmark studies. Dr. Harrington played a critical role in programs that have increased our understandings of a number of agents that are now part of everyday practice. Among them are platelet glycoprotein 2B3A inhibitors, platelet P2Y12 inhibitors, platelet thrombin receptor antagonists, low molecular weight heparins, direct thrombin inhibitors, and factor Xa inhibitors. Dr. Harrington's research has been reported in more than 520 peer-reviewed manuscripts, reviews, book chapters, and editorials. He's currently serving a second term as member and chair of the FDA's Cardiovascular and Renal Drugs Advisory Committee. He's on the American Heart Association's Board of Directors and its Science Advisory and Coordinating Committee.
I appreciate being named this year's recipient of the 2017 American Heart Association Clinical Research Prize. When I look at the group of prior winners, I'm certainly humbled and honored to be included in their midst. Clinical research is a team science. As such, it depends on the talents of a diverse group of professionals, as well as the engagement of our patients to ask and to answer some of the questions facing those with coronary heart disease. I'm grateful and want to acknowledge the many colleagues around the globe with whom I've collaborated with over the last 27 years. I need to give special thanks and acknowledgement to my colleagues at the Duke Clinical Research Institute and to my colleagues at the Stanford University Department of Medicine. It's their support and dedication to the research process that's really been critical to the success in answering some of these questions. I need to give special thanks to my many research fellows over the years. Their curiosity, their commitment, and their willingness to ask tough questions has certainly made me a better investigator. None of this work is possible without the support of a loving family. For that I am grateful and would like to thank my wife and daughters. We've made much progress in the battle against ischemic heart disease, the world's leading cause of death and disability, but much work remains to be done, and I look forward to continuing clinical investigation with my many colleagues around the globe. Finally, again, I would like to thank the American Heart Association and all those who support its mission to build healthier lives free of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Thank you.
It's my honor to introduce the recipient of the 2017 Clinical Research Prize, Dr. Robert Harrington. The Population Research Prize recognizes a person who's making outstanding contributions to the advancement of cardiovascular science and who heads a major population research laboratory. This year's recipient is Dr. Donna Arnett from the University of Kentucky College of Public Health. In addition to maintaining her personal research, Dr. Arnett has developed nationally recognized research portfolios at the institutions she has led. She's also a past president of the American Heart Association in 2012-2013. Throughout her career, Dr. Arnett has worked to integrate molecular science with population studies and has used her extensive training in both disciplines to produce results for public health. She has published more than 500 peer-reviewed reports in high-impact journals. These include the work she has led in identifying genetic biomarkers and in risk prediction, hypertension, heart failure, imaging, and methods development. With the American Heart Association, Dr. Arnett has served as a bridge between the population and molecular research communities. She's known for her willingness to work with AHA affiliates and with the association's councils on epidemiology and prevention and functional genomics and translational biology. She's held numerous other association positions, including serving on the National Board, the International Committee, and chairing the Worksite Wellness Conference Committee. Her volunteer efforts on behalf of the American Heart Association are too numerous to detail, but today we are honoring her for her significant scientific achievements in her professional field of cardiovascular epidemiology. Her years of work have enhanced our ability to fight heart and blood vessel diseases.
I want to thank the American Heart Association leadership, my colleagues, mentors, and mentees who put me forward for the Population Research Prize. There are many deserving candidates, and I'm honored and humbled to be selected for this award. I love research. As a clinical research nurse some 30 years ago, I discovered the joy of asking questions. Like, why did African Americans have more severe hypertension and more hypertension than other ethnic groups? And why was the response to drugs treating their blood pressure so variable among patients? It was these questions that really led me to think that there was a genetic cause to cardiovascular disease and hypertension. And that launched my research career. Discovering genetic epidemiology as a tool for designing studies to answer these questions really launched a whole career and platform of studies in cardiovascular genetic epidemiology. I am deeply indebted to the American Heart Association because, like many of you sitting in this room, I got my first grant from the American Heart Association, and I'm appreciative of their tremendous support to junior scientists then and all of these years since. Population science is a team science, and it's team science at its best. We don't pull off these big studies alone. It takes many collaborators from many different disciplines. I am thankful and indebted to my colleagues at the University of Minnesota, the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and my current institution, the University of Kentucky, for coming along with me and making this science possible. I'm also especially grateful to my husband, who has moved 3 times so that I could realize my scientific goals and my career aspirations. And finally, to our 4 dogs, who are always wagging their tail no matter what time I get home at night. Again, thank you to the American Heart Association, friends and colleagues, for this award.
Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the 2017 Population Research Prize, Dr. Donna Arnett. The Eugene Braunwald Academic Mentorship Award honors a recipient who for at least 20 to 25 years has successfully mentored promising young academicians. This year the award goes to Dr. Gary Webb from the University of Cincinnati and Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Dr. Webb has mentored countless pediatric and adult cardiologists, many of whom have established and enhanced congenital heart programs across the world. Throughout his career, he has held major hospital and administrative positions. He joined the University of Toronto Medical Faculty in 1972 and was director of the Toronto Congenital Cardiac Center for Adults at Toronto General Hospital from 1986 to 2004. He then became director of the Philadelphia Adult Congenital Heart Center and was a member of the medical faculties at the University of Pennsylvania and the Cardiac Center of Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Then in 2009, he took on his roles in Cincinnati. Dr. Webb was one of the leaders in recognizing the need for a structured postgraduate fellowship program in the emerging field of adult congenital heart disease. During his long and productive career, he's been praised for his clinical and research skills and his willingness to share his knowledge with trainees, fellow physicians, and other healthcare specialists, and with patients and their families. His tenure as a mentor extends for 45 years, and he has mentored 80 trainees just since 1993. Dr. Webb's career reflects the rapid growth in the population of adults surviving with congenital heart disease and the importance of this expanding field. He was a founding member of the International Society for Adult Congenital Heart Disease and served as its first president. He has often been honored as an outstanding teacher, and he's been a guest lecturer and distinguished professor at centers of higher learning on 5 continents. With sincere appreciation, it is my honor to present the 2017 Eugene Braunwald Academic Mentorship Award to Dr. Gary Webb.
Thank you, Dr. Warner. I am most grateful to the American Heart Association and to Dr. Daphne Sue and the Committee on Cardiovascular Disease in the Young for the honor of receiving the Eugene Braunwald Mentorship Award. Most of my mentoring was done at Toronto General Hospital in the Toronto Congenital Cardiac Centre for Adults. There we have photographs of all the fellows displayed on the walls reminding us of their contributions to the center. I am pleased to say that most of my fellow relationships were win-win in nature, with both of us benefiting from the experience, and certainly none more than me benefiting from their teaching and advice. It is important to note that the reason the fellows took training from many different countries at Toronto General was because of the amazing team of subspecialists that we were able to assemble and the large number of patients that we were caring for. I therefore dedicate this award to the team members of the Toronto Congenital Cardiac Centre for Adults, both past and present. Thank you very much for this honor, which I treasure immensely. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Dr. Webb. The Research Achievement Award recognizes a lifetime of distinguished scientific achievement in cardiovascular research and teaching. The award this year goes to Dr. Thomas Brott from the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Brott is a pioneer in the field of stroke and cerebrovascular disease research. He was a leading investigator in the studies that identified tissue plasminogen activator, known as TPA, as an effective treatment for ischemic stroke. He was also instrumental in designing the National Institutes of Health Stroke Scale. Dr. Brott is currently the principal investigator for the carotid revascularization endarterectomy versus stenting trial, known as CREST. And he is national co-principal investigator of the Siblings with Ischemic Stroke Study, or SWIS. Both of these studies are funded by the National Institute of Neurologic Disorders and Stroke. A widely published researcher, Dr. Brott has received numerous awards and honors and has held national leadership positions in his field. He has served as chair of the advisory committee to the Neurologic Devices Panel of the Food and Drug Administration and chair of the Stroke Council of the American Heart Association. I'm privileged to introduce the 2017 recipient of the Research Achievement Award, Dr. Thomas Brott.
Thank you, Dr. Warner. Colleagues, it is a singular honor to accept today the American Heart Association Research Achievement Award. Thank you. Technology and teamwork have led the way. A first step for me was my AHA student fellowship at the Mayo Clinic. Technology then was the first CT scanner in the United States, when for the first time we could see and distinguish cerebral infarction and cerebral hemorrhage on Polaroid prints. Then came recombinant biology and intravenous alteplase and cell phones. The teamwork with Joe Broderick, Bill Barson, and ED physicians and neurologists at 12 hospitals in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky allowed us to treat patients with IV alteplase in 90 minutes or less, and that teamwork was sustained by what we witnessed following those first treatments. Patients moving from hemiplegia to walking out the hospital door. We learned more about the other emergency stroke, primary intracerebral hemorrhage. And we learned that we needed more than alteplase for the big emboli, which technology and our endovascular colleagues have provided with stent retrievers and aspiration catheters. Technology led the way again for stroke prevention with carotid stents. We thought then that carotid stenting would be best for the oldest patients. Thank goodness for randomized clinical trials. The first American trial, CREST, showed both carotid endarterectomy and carotid stenting very safe. The surprise, though, was that carotid stenting has its greatest benefit for the younger patient. What about today? The CREST-2 trial asks for asymptomatic patients with carotid stenosis greater than 70%, is endarterectomy or stenting superior to intensive medical management alone? Again, we have an outstanding team, and technology has given us better stents, better protection devices, hemodynamic imaging of the brain, MRI of the carotid plaque, and on the medical side, PCSK9s and other cutting-edge drugs and risk factor reduction tactics. So, on behalf of my colleagues, on behalf of our patients and their families, and on behalf of the other investigators who advanced the science and the technology, a sincere thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Brott. Now it's time to announce the winner of the Joseph A. Vita Award, commemorating Joe Vita, a highly successful clinical investigator who passed away 3 years ago. He launched the Journal of the American Heart Association and served as deputy editor of the AHA Journal Circulation. The award in his name is given to an investigator whose publication in the last 5 years has had great impact in the field of cardiovascular biology or medicine. This year's award goes to Dr. Laura Morey from Harvard University and Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Dr. Morey's research is focused on the clinical evaluation of the effectiveness of new medical technology. This has led to greater understanding of the interactions between medical devices, general clinical practice, and pharmaceutical therapy. She and her clinical research associates have changed the practice of cardiology through their significant observational and randomized trials. She was the principal investigator for the dual antiplatelet therapy study, the largest single international randomized trial of patients undergoing percutaneous coronary treatment. The study of 26,000 subjects examined the impact of antiplatelet therapy's duration on late ischemic events and found marked reduction in heart attack with continued treatment beyond 1 year. Dr. Morey managed the study in partnership with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and 8 pharmaceutical and device manufacturers. Her research group has also developed personalized decision tools to individualize treatment that have been widely adopted in clinical practice. Her work ranges from early first-in-human investigations to pivotal post-market studies and to the assessment of outcomes in current clinical practice. She has supervised the design, leadership, and analysis of clinical trial data across nearly 100 medical device trials. She's currently the associate editor of the AH Journal Circulation, and during the last 5 years, she has authored 85 original research articles, 3 clinical practice guidelines, and numerous editorials in Circulation and other leading journals.
It's my pleasure to receive this award from the American Heart Association in the name of Joseph Vita. He had a lifelong commitment to vascular biology, and by leading the Journal of the American Heart Association, he really built bridges between science and cardiovascular health. It is truly an honor to receive this award in his name. I hope to be able to accomplish as much in my lifetime as he did in his. In my career, I have been inspired by the deep progress that has been made in cardiovascular medicine. Acute myocardial infarction is one very good example where we've seen incredible links that have been built between research, clinical care, and the healthcare system. And these have really led to much better treatment for patients, reduction in mortality and morbidity for patients with heart attack. I'm deeply grateful to the American Heart Association. I'm also grateful to my mentors and mentees that have inspired me over the years. My colleagues here at the Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard Medical School, as well as at the Baim Institute for Clinical Research. To the patients worldwide who have dedicated and volunteered themselves so that they could improve the lives of others in the future. And to my family, David, Christopher, and Julia, without your love and support, I couldn't have done this. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the privilege of receiving this award in the name of Joe Vida.
I'm pleased to present the Joseph A. Vida Award to Dr. Laura Maury. Congratulations again, Dr. Maury. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Eric Peterson, Chairman of our Committee on Scientific Sessions program.
Thank you very much, John. It's a great honor and privilege to be here. I am Eric Peterson, and I'm a professor at Duke University, investigator, clinician, and chair of scientific sessions. And it's my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 2017 Scientific Sessions event. I think we've already seen that this is a remarkable event, and it hasn't even begun. In part, my slides have advanced without me. If you could go back a couple slides, it'd be great. Thank you. I have to do this because, as John mentioned, it's an honor and privilege to work with a team, and I've worked with an amazing team. Donna Lloyd-Jones is my co-chair, and Dr. John Warner is the AHA president, along with all those individuals in these slides, have in part, listed on this slide, have in part made this meeting what it is today. It is an excellent program, and I hope you enjoy all of what you'll see with regards to cardiovascular disease and stroke, given by some of the most amazing experts from around the world. Next slide. I would also like to thank the many AHA staff members who worked tirelessly on this meeting to in part create the behind-the-scenes things that make this meeting work. In particular, I'd like to thank Melissa Jarvis, Leslie Hearn, and Gail Whitman, who provided Donna and myself nearly daily and sometimes nightly guidance in terms of how to make this meeting come together. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank those industry sponsors who've given unrestricted educational grant supports to this meeting. Their names are listed here. This 2017 meeting includes nearly 900 sessions that span this spectrum of cardiovascular disease, from basic science, clinical, and population health. Discovering the latest advances and explaining those in a simple task to individuals of many areas of the world is a tough job, but we put together an amazing series of experts, and I'm so glad to be a part of this meeting to in part bring these experts to you to explain all of the opportunities and options that exist in cardiovascular disease and stroke research as well as clinical care. The Scientific Sessions is truly an international meeting. Nearly 40% of all the attendees are from outside the U.S., and almost half those presenting original science come from outside the U.S. In addition, the Heart Association has teamed up with 42 international cardiovascular organizations to in part put on globally relevant clinical and scientific information. Trying to navigate those 900 sessions can be difficult, but in part we've got you covered. In part, on your phones, you can download the AHA Mobile Meeting Guide. This provides you with full access and details to the meeting, speakers, sessions, as well as council meetings and other related activities in the areas around the meeting itself. It should be a great help. It also allows you to ask questions to the individual investigators or to make comments. Special sessions have always been a part of this great meeting, and special lectures certainly become a major part of it. You've already heard the great lecture from Dr. Warner. In a few minutes you'll hear the Lewis A. Conner Memorial Lecture on accelerating precision health for all of us research program given by Eric Dishman. Tomorrow you'll hear the honored to have Dr. Bruce Albert, who is a recipient of last year's Lasker Award. He will present Keeping Science and Society Healthy, Challenges to Scientists. Then on Tuesday, you'll hear the Paul Dudley White Lecture given by Sir Rory Collins from Oxford, and the 2017 AHA Distinguished Science Lecture given by Marlene Rabinovich. Late-breaking clinical science has always been at the heart of the meetings and the focal point of much of the buzz and excitement. This year is no exception. We have 7 late-breaking clinical trial sessions that cover the gamut from prevention, cardiometabolic disease, hypertension, new antithrombotics, acute interventions, and even how do we deliver care more consistently to our patients. You may already be aware that the long-awaited hypertension guidelines will be published during these meetings on Monday. Hypertension is the world's most common modifiable cardiovascular risk factor, and now we have new guidelines that in part redefine the disease, talk about new thresholds and new goals for therapy. 2 full sessions will be devoted to this on Monday that in part take these guidelines and break them down into the recommendations and then help you go even further to figure out how you can personalize them for the care of your individual patients. Speaking of hypertension, the AHA has also released an application that will allow you to interact with a virtual patient to both diagnose and then ultimately manage that patient in a very interactive session. That will in part see if whether your recommendations for therapy match those of the newly released guidelines. This simulation will be available November 13th after 2 p.m. The AHA is doing much to in part bring guideline medicines to the bedside. One of the new apps is the Guideline on the Go. This allows you to take the entire guideline systems and put it onto your phone and be able to use it at the point of care to deliver better, higher quality care. Just one way the AHA is helping to improve the quality of care being delivered to patients and ultimately to improve their outcomes and reach our mission. Frontiers of Science continue to be one of the most compelling parts of the reasons why people attend the meetings, and this year is no exception. We will have 4 summits that are devoted around the frontiers of science. These sessions are an area for which scientists can openly share in a rapid-fire session their latest and greatest, newest findings. Because these presentations represent an opportunity to see pre-publication dissemination of results, the results will only be presented in the room and not thereafter. This year we'll have 4 programs focused on arrhythmia, stem cells, vascular disease, and thrombosis. They should be quite exciting. In addition, we're on the West Coast, and it's certainly the Tech Valley, so it's very fitting that in part at these meetings we highlight an entire day devoted to tech and its juncture to how it delivers health care. We'll have 4 keynote speeches delivered by the tech giants, including GE, Microsoft, Qualcomm, and Verily. In addition, we'll have other sessions throughout the day that talk about how the tech world is in part influencing how we deliver care today as well as in tomorrow. We also have an opportunity to celebrate a special birthday. This is the Fogarty's 50th birthday, and in part in collaboration with the NIH and NHLBI, along with the Fogarty International Center, we'll put on a full day devoted to global cardiovascular health. In that, we will review the issues of cardiovascular health both in the developed and the developing world, given to you by luminaries from around the world. Should be a wonderful experience. Speaking of international, we have also launched the Paul Dudley White International Scholars Award. This award recognizes global excellence in cardiovascular research, celebrating the top scoring abstract from every country. It in part is named after Paul Dudley White, one of the founders of the American Heart Association, and a true believer in excellence both in research and clinical care around the world. Just to remind you, the scientific sessions is accredited for physicians, PAs, nurse practitioners, and pharmacists, as well as providing MOC points. If you need to know more, go to learn.heart.org to pick up your credits. While these sessions are in part an opportunity to see amazing science, both basic clinical, population health, policy, technology, cutting-edge findings, in part it's an opportunity for you to experience time with your friends and others around the world. You should take this opportunity to not only understand the didactics, but explore with one another what is and makes these meetings great. This is somewhat of a holiday for myself as well. It's been 25 years since I first, as a fellow, presented my first major scientific presentation at the Scientific Sessions in New Orleans in the 65th session. Since that time, I've not missed a single Heart Association meetings. I've had amazing experiences over the years, met amazing people. And in part, I hope for all of you who are the first-time presenters out in the audience that you too have such an amazing experience, enjoy the camaraderie, come back again and again, year in and year out, and enjoy these Heart Association meetings. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Peterson. Let's give the whole team another hand. Thank you.